What's up guys, it's Robin here with Health to Be Happy, and today we're going to be talking about tanning, burning, and everything in between. Whether you're playing a sport, heading to the beach, or just in your backyard gardening, the sun is something you always have to worry about. If you get too much sun, you can have folic acid deficiencies, and folic acid is a chemical that is extremely important for cell building, and it's especially important in pregnant women for the same reason. If you have too much of it destroyed, it can even lead to anemia because you're preventing red blood cells from being created. If you don't get enough sun, you can have high cholesterol or an array of mental disorders. So how do we make sure we're getting the right amount? First, we have to touch on the topic of race, and as much as I try to avoid talking about race, it's important for this topic. People from closer to the equator, such as African Americans, Hispanics, that kind of stuff, they have darker skin tones because in Africa, where they're closer to the equator, they get more sunlight. So they have to be able to protect their folic acid for the reasons I stated. But because of this, when we work in offices all day long and they're not getting that amount of sunlight that they get over in Africa, they have more trouble successfully converting cholesterol to vitamin D, which is extremely dangerous because that puts them at a greater risk for heart disease, stroke, stuff like that. In fact, African Americans are 30% more likely to get those kinds of cholesterol related issues than their white counterparts. Now, if you're from more northern areas, northern Europe, any of Europe, that kind of stuff, then you have the opposite effect, where your skin is lighter in order to convert more cholesterol to vitamin D because you come from areas with less sunlight. However, when we move further south or we're in areas where we're outside more often, stuff like that, you have more of an issue with your folic acid. You're destroying your folic acid. And a lack of folic acid, I already talked about how that can cause anemia. But in pregnant women, it can actually cause birth defects in the skull and the neck, and that's really dangerous. And it's just all around not good to not have enough folic acid. So it's really an important thing to talk about, making sure you're getting enough sunlight, but not too much. Now, what you all probably came for from the title, how to tan effectively. Skin color is produced by melanin, which comes in two forms, either red and yellow or black and brown. In redheads, their black and brown pigments have been nearly knocked out, so it's even harder for them to tan. But the thing we're doing to kind of make it harder on ourselves to tan, we're actually causing ourselves to burn, because your pigments, when you sense more light, the pigments run into overdrive and they start producing more melanin, which makes you tan. But that's connected to our optic nerve, so if you wear sunglasses, you're confusing the optic nerve and it doesn't know that it needs to protect itself, or the skin doesn't know that it needs to protect itself from the sun's harmful UVB rays that are actually also good for you. And you're actually making it harder for yourself to tan. So in order to tan effectively without using tons of sunblock, we need to limit our use of sunglasses. And that's good for certain circumstances, but I mean, if you're driving and you can't see the road, I would much rather you wear sunglasses than worry about protecting your skin. So, well, that's all for this episode. If you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, drop me a line in the comments section or email me at healthtobehappy@gmail.com. If you want to see the links for all of the sources that I used in this episode, that will be in the description. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe. Bye!